Hi there. Let me tell you a fun fact. Do you know that the development of speech in the entirety of human civilization is owed majorly to gossip? Yeah, gossip. Sinful noting of interpersonal relationships inside the flock. Who did what to whom? What happened to this monkey on the hunt? Who said bad things about this monkey's rocks? The sharing of such delicate and sensitive information was always necessary for the safety of the group and the survival too. So here we are, thousands of years later, I'm speaking to you. In other words, I speak right now to you because my ancient ancestor wanted to call somebody a bitch. In other words, I speak because drama. Drama has permeated every fiber of YouTube's existence ever since 2006. It's everywhere. Now, granted, there's been tons and tons and tons of material on singular dramas and, from drama channels and whatnot. But I feel there still hasn't been a single attempt to research drama as a system. I aim to make a dissertational attempt at looking chaos straight in the eyes and trying to tame it, categorize it, put everything there is to put in a nice tangible system of thought, and basically to develop a first theory of YouTube drama. So in the end, we could answer the main question: YouTube drama, was it any good? That's the wrong channel. So please join me in this ascension, the ultimate research of YouTube drama, so maybe, just maybe, we'll come out of it successful. Hi again, Room Loves Web here. So we have figured out that drama is ancient, and researching it in such a contemporary environment as YouTube, well, it's a different beast altogether. The first thing that we have to cross off of our research checklist, of course, it's definition. What is YouTube drama? What differs it ever so from two cavemen calling each other rock thieves in the beginning of time? Why does it seem like it just can't get any morally worse, and yet somehow it always does? Strap in, it's about to get a little scientific. Drama is an event of confrontation between two or more parties that is public in nature and manifests both in social media as well as in real life. Being proper researchers and not just some essays from Timu, we are to establish a taxonomical framework, basically to provide hierarchical structure and nice categorization to all the dramas in the kingdom. Of course, along the way, we'll answer a set of very interesting questions and draw some parallels that constitute the beautiful and multifaceted nature of YouTube conflicts. Well, there's nothing to wait for, so let's catch them all. Go drama mine! Approaching the audience tables full of brain rot is always an entertaining task, but I think I've been able to devise up a structure that at least efficiently tries to make sense of all that nonsense. There are bigger categories and smaller categories, and the first bigger categories I'd like to mention is... Allegation dramas are dramas featuring accusations of misconduct in a professional or ethical or personal sphere against a creator, often involving expose videos and trust battles. The allegation dramas always seem to be the most numerous, and they always are extra spicy. But have you ever wondered why? Why is it that allegation dramas are so widespread compared to other drama types? Is it because YouTubers are just statistically more likely to be foul people hiding dark secrets? Or is it something a little bit deeper? Let's get into the science of things, shall we? First and foremost, we have to set sail to the concept known as parasocial or relationship, first introduced by Horton and Wall in the work in 1959. They first defined it as a media user's reaction to a media performer, such that the media user perceives the performer as an intimate, conversational partner. We have seen it absolutely flourishing in the 21st century. For convenience, let's call them PSRs. Remember K-pop fans, millions of people eating dinner accompanied by their favorite streamer, or a mukbang video, folks that are getting a little bit too attached to YouTube families, you watching me, JK, unless. So this guy, Connor Freeman from the University of Mary Washington, in his work, That's a mouthful. The relationship between parasocial relationship and grooming as a problematic rhetorical strategy on YouTube. I told you. He really insightfully points out that parasocial relationships are amplified with digital media, creating this sort of a very unique parasocial asymmetrical bond, in which younger, less experienced, and more vulnerable fans cannot adequately merit or challenge the behavior of influential, large, respected creators. This power imbalance is the key to answering our question. Moreover, YouTubers have to create this persona of a good, old, close friend and an approachable, trusted figure, which then further disarms the audiences. This feeling of trust is majorly exploited, so that when the victim gets in close contact with the creator, be it in DMs or even worse, during personal IRL meetup, the behavior constituting abuse, misconduct, or grooming is psychologically normalized. Contacts like these with the creators are actually way more accessible to usual people compared to personal contacts with musical celebrities or Hollywood actors, which makes things even more dangerous and numerous. And I guess it really goes like both ways, because wielding this insane amount of imbalanced power seems to be getting into the creators' heads. Many of them, I bet, couldn't even subjectively imagine doing such heinous acts before fame. When the fact of misconduct is publicized, it attracts the viewers with an immense strength because they very strongly emotionally resonate with this vulnerability of an imbalanced PSR. This sort of engagement is so strong and so noticeable, it actually outweighs the engagement caused by other drama types, and thus the engagement-dependent YouTube algorithm actively promotes allegation dramas, only furthering the perception of multiplicity. And even more than that, if you pair up this insane extreme amount of engagement with a crowd, you get a mob. And mobs are destructive. They tend to come for everything you've got. And the allegation dramas justify the widest scale of destruction. By alleging someone as a groomer, perhaps, or as a fraud, you're not just taking away their subscriber count, you're also taking away the monetization, the sponsorship, the reputation to produce the further content. Compared to debate dramas in which the loser might lose a portion of a subscriber base and sort of move on to see the next day, the people that are going through allegation dramas, they lose all of it. Let's tie it all up and definitively try to answer this question. Parasocial relationships are this prevalent because of a unique and corrupting type of a parasocial relationship, which when abused, exploited, and publicized creates an explosion of engagement, which in turn causes the formation of an angry mob, which generates in turn an even larger engagement explosion. It's like a nuclear reaction. It is very easy to fall into it, and it is very hard to stop it, and YouTube loves promoting it. So there you go. Alright, I propose the following categorization for allegation dramas. There's going to be quite a lot, so please bear with me. They usually differ by the topic of the allegation, but I think I have managed to, catch them all. The first one is the plagiarism dramas, and I'll kind of skip over it because everything that needed to be said about plagiarism got researched and very, in an entertaining way, delivered to the audiences by H-Bomber Guy. If you haven't watched this video on plagiarism and YouTube, what are you even doing with your life, friend? Go and watch. I'll just pack on some examples like Only JS, on top of not being generally likable. She's also a content stealer, apparently, but I think it was proven. It doesn't matter much. There's Matthew Santoro versus Keemstar drama happened in 2016. Matthew Santoro stealing something. Irrelevant. This drama type should be mentioned. It is spicy, no doubt, but it's most often very, very easily provable. It passes on very fast, so let's pass it on very fast to the next type. Now, the second type is spicy, no doubt. Actually, is the allegation drama on steroids. One of the most popular, most signature-ish drama types on YouTube in general. You know it doesn't need no introduction, or maybe it needs a little bit. The grooming dramas. Everybody hates a groomer. Don't touch cupcakes. I mean, type of drama where creators just go out and really harm cupcakes, usually with pictures of DMs and all sorts of other proofs. Major examples of that would be Dr. Disrespect. As much as I don't understand the guy, you sort of gotta hand it to him because he's a true lesson in resilience. Now catch this. You have a family and you have an audience, you have all the money in the world, you're a skilled gamer guy, and then you just kind of have to go and chat a little bit inappropriately but not illegally with the wrongly aged person, and then Twitch has to cover you up, and then this cover just gets burnt and the internet banishes you to hell, but several months later you just return like absolutely nothing happened. Dr. Disrespect, right? Another example would be Colleen Ballinger. I'm bringing it up mostly because of the great infamous apology video with the ukulele. You know, have you noticed that since 2023 there hasn't been a better and more cringy apology video than what Colleen came up with? She really sang so all the other YouTubers could fly. But still, all the stupid defensive maneuvers and mental acrobatics aside, осуждаем. That is, we judge you in Russian. Arslev's web осуждаем seal approved. Another segregated type would be harassment dramas. It's when a creator is managing bullying campaigns, doxing acts, or pretty much just harasses peer creators or fans from the audience, with major examples being, I mean, should I even say it's Sniper Wolf versus Jax Films, where Sniper Wolf doxed the hell out of Jax Films' home just because she felt offended, I guess. Really the poster baby of YouTube that got only 7 days demonetization for this. One of the gravest doxing acts in YouTube history. Props to Jax Films, I mean, he's done nothing wrong here. But still, the precedent was set in a positive way. I haven't heard any big doxing dramas of that level since, so hooray. Another type that has to be segregated is the domestic abuse allegation dramas. Really dark stuff. I don't want to get deeper into that. There's, I guess, Turkey Tom. That's his territory or whatever. Domestic drama abuse is characterized by a creator not being very decent in his own household, terrorizing the people he lives with and often animals. Awful, absolutely deplorable. Just the way it happened with, like, Sky Does Minecraft, allegedly.
I did so much for her. I paid her through beauty school. I just wanted her to succeed in life, even when she was at her lowest.
Just incredibly dark stuff. How can a single human being bring so much misery at his own home? I don't understand, but there's many stories like that. Many such cases, as you Americans would have said. Now, special mention would be cultural insensitivity dramas. They're not very diverse by what I have seen, but that's some spicy stuff. They're usually characterized by a classic story. A creator back in 2012 used that special edgy, a little bit racist type of humor, did some blackface here and there, thought that was funny. Everybody gave him the haha, but, you know, about 10 years later, your career is ruined because of it. Guess what? Society changes. What are you gonna do? The poster child of this would be Shane Dawson, but I mean Shane Dawson, the king of YouTube. If drama was like music, Shane Dawson would be a multi-instrumentalist like Bob Dylan. He's been through it all. The Carmageddon, the Dramageddon 1.0, the Dramageddon 2.0. Wherever Shane Dawson is, the drama follows. And, well, guess what? He did some blackface, as mentioned before, ruined his career. I don't even know what he's doing right now. He's on hiatus, I guess. Nobody texts about him. The next subtype of the allegation dramas is cheating and economical fraud dramas. They're usually characterized by a creator, usually some sort of guru or info businessman, being not that very clean with money. Such creator activity is causing economical harm to the audience, right? The major example would be the Liver King. Do you remember the Liver King? A man with absolutely prehistoric charm.
I mean, I guess the most interesting thing about him is the audience of complete beta males that worship testosterone as a divine Amrita nectar. Oh, Jesus, no. Oh, no. I can feel the rain. No. So the Liver King made a lot of money off of that beta male audience, selling them supplements, I guess. And he made them eat, like, brains and such. Great stuff if you fall in love with medical bills and whatnot. But after his big expose, turned out that he was all on steroids. His impressive caveman physique, well, it was all fake. 11,000 worth of steroids every month or something like that. There's not much left of Liver King right now. Whatever. Nobody cares. Liver King, bye-bye. Another example of a clean textbook video book in our example, Economical fraud, would be The Completionist. You remember Carl Jobs and Mudahar did an expose on him, charity fraud with the Open Hand Foundation that was founded to help people, to help fund research linked with dementia and whatnot. $600,000 worth of charity donations. This absolute sweetheart of YouTube was just keeping and holding for himself. What a delicious drama that was. Very video book, as I said before. Alright, those are all the dramas that I've been able to segregate, but if you have any more in mind, please leave them in the comments. This video is an attempt, and I would like for it to become a collaborative attempt to create the best theory of YouTube drama there ever was. Let's move on to other things, shall we? Local dramas are constituted by a prolonged harassment of individuals for their eccentric behavior, turning them into self-propulsing spectacle. Lolcows are the eccentrics, the weirdos, the madmen of YouTube that are attracting attention with their off-putting personas and marginalized lifestyles. But really, it's not that simple. There has to be an extraordinary unusualness for local dynamic to even exist. Lolcows are very special in that regard.
This is most irregular.
If general dramas, the usual ones, the other types, are not very numerous in the lives of individual creators, lolcows themselves are the dramas. Lolcows are the figures that are getting continuously harassed for their off-putting personas, marginalized lifestyle, excessive eccentricism, etc., etc. But on the other hand, this very harassment is the fuel for the popularity among online communities. On that note, let's talk Chris Chan. Christian Weston Chandler. Christina Weston Chandler, the original creator of Sonichu, the most documented human in history, the progenitor of all lolcows on YouTube and beyond, the Chris Chan. What made her this way? What is the attraction? What keeps us fascinated? If you don't know who Chris Chan is, I would insistingly refer you to Gino Samuel's lifetime work, 60+ vids epic documentary on Chris Chan detailing everything, his entire saga. But to our research, Chris Chan would be very interesting to extrapolate general patterns of lolcow's existence. Chris Chan started his genre-defining strides on YouTube in 2007-2008. Back when the internet felt like a very different place, more like a Call of Duty Modern Warfare lobby, and not the 2019 one, the old one with white 13-year-old boys shouting the you-know-what word in your ear.
Where'd you play? Alright, oh my god. Alright, first of all, where'd you play? Not Igor.
Trolling was in fact customary. It was almost a standard of human communication. And here comes Chris Chan, a man on the spectrum, making his honest-to-God videos about his life, about his family, about his dreams of making it big with his original character Sonichu, and about his attempts to meet a boyfriend-free girl. Let me tell it to you straight with the Eastern European directness. Chris Chan was a big, juicy cow who fell into the piranha-infested waters. The trolling began almost immediately and hasn't receded for at least 15 years. Alright, but during the research of lolcow dramas, lolcows, and Chris Chan in particular, one has to ask oneself a question. Lolcow people live in our heart, rent-free. They are timeless. I wouldn't be surprised if 50 to 100 years away from now, there would be some Chris Chan 3, The Revenge of Christine saga going on. And the question is why? Why do Lolcows exist, and what makes them so unique they exist in their separate category? What warrants their existence on the web? Let's try and pry that question open with the help of some scientific knowledge. First, how could we explain such a detached sense of organized aggression against Chris Chan? Central to understanding it is the concept of moral disengagement. Research by Kimberly R. Allison, K. Bussey, Jesus, I hope I'm pronouncing this name right, and Naomi Sweller. Moral disengagement refers to the cognitive restructuring of harmful behavior. Basically, people, anons, enter the system that allows them to normalize their actions, nullifying moral consequences by internal justification. In such online communities as Kiwi Farms or Encyclopedia Dramatica that were built upon the foundation of trolling and roasting, members routinely use harsh humor and a mean but funny comedic framework to justify personal attacks on basically whomever. This creates an upward, almost competitive dynamic. Basically, who can troll better, who can do it more exquisitely, who can go further. Such reframing is the foundation upon which the Lolcow phenomena is built. After all, no Lolcow can exist without a community that can reflect their nature. A trolling community that's also a perfect environment for a process called de-individuation, as mentioned by Kimberly Allison's work, From Abhorrent to Acceptable: Norms, Standards, and Negativity in Online Communities. So, de-individuation, the basis for mob thinking, is in concept very simple and was very brilliantly illustrated in Ernest Hemingway's novel For Whom the Bell Tolls. During the Spanish Civil War, a small town got liberated from the fascist regime by the followers of the Republic. The remainder of fascists of this town got rounded up in this tavern and subsequently were forced to walk through two lines of heavily armed Republicans. It was to be their last walk. At first, the Republican mob struggled to inflict any harm on the passing fascists, especially knowing all of them personally. But with each passing person, the mob devolves and falls deeper into madness and vulgarity. The persona of the one with a Christian moral compass and principles and values got dissolved in the superego of the many, and thus the de-individuation is complete. More than that, moral disengagement amplifies the reduced inhibition of aggression towards any given Lolcow, really. Another addition that we will have to make is the inclusion of a unique parasocial relationships. I knew it was to find us once more. Just as much as the Allegation Drama has its own unique type of PSR, Lolcow Drama's PSR is very special as well. Instead of being attached to somebody perfect and powerful, people enter the connection with ambivalence and ambiguity, ranging from total fascination to utter disgust at the Lolcow, creating a very addicting sense of an emotional swing. And this PSR would last kind of very long, which would only explain the longevity of Chris Chan's career. Hey folks, so let's take a brief stop at the moment and continue with our research in the following episodes. If you haven't forgotten, we have 4 more categories to go through in taxonomy and a whole lot of stuff beyond that, which is also quite captivating. If you have made it this far though, thank you. I hope you have enjoyed listening to my ramblings as much as I have enjoyed, well, rambling them up on this microphone. This video has been an absolute roller coaster to work on, which is well rewarding enough on its own, but also do be sure to gracefully click on the sub and like button, and well, I am to see you soon. Goodbye.